looks like we're pretty much all here. So good morning, everybody. For those of you who I've not had the pleasure of meeting in person, which is a good number of you, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. My name is David Weinberg, and I'm the Assistant Dean of Admission for the Law School. And I want to welcome you and your family to the first official gathering of Tulane Law School's class of 2023. And obviously, needless to say, this has been an unusual first gathering. I am happy to see all of you here. Let me start off by saying I'm happy to see all of you here and doing well and thriving and keeping your sense of humor and persisting through what could be a challenge that you've already met. And that's really what I've taken as the admissions dean who's overseen your process of arriving at Tulane Law. So like everyone else during pandemic, you've probably been on social media, you see all these memes. And one of the memes that I took a liking to was those ones where, you have to share like the 13th or 14th picture on your camera and let everyone see them and see what, that was and what that moment was in time. I'm not going to show you my 13th or 14th photo. It's probably of my dog at this point. I take lots of pictures of my dog during pandemic. But I want to share a photo with you. It's the last photo I took on March 13th when I was with some of you during our March Admitted Student Day. And this photo means a lot to me for many reasons. We were ultimately surprised that on that Friday, it would be the last day that we would be physically on campus for the rest of the spring semester. And the truth of the matter is, it was a happy day for us in admissions. We were welcoming those of you who were with us, and we had beignets. And there can't be anything more happy, I think, than carbs and sugar and New Orleans all coming together right on the back patio of the law school. And we will have a point in time when we will be able to gather all fully together. And you're going to hear some remarks from Dean Meyer in a bit, but I would encourage him to approve my request for a beignet truck, because I think honestly, we would like a do-over. We enjoyed our beignet truck in March, and we would like all of our incoming students to have this experience. One of the things I want to share with you is, first off, before I share anything with you, I want to take this opportunity to thank a few people and those of you who ultimately, stop sharing, there we go. Those of you who have ultimately worked with the admissions team this entire spring know that we would not be all together right now without the tremendous service of Emily Voyna-Hodnet, Julia Martin, Alex Guerin, and Maria Landry. I see some of them here. I thank them all from the bottom of my heart. I know every year I have the best team in law school admissions, and they have proven themselves time and time again. So while I want everyone to respect social distance, please, if you do see Emily or Julia or Alex or Maria, even in virtual form this semester, please continue to give them your thanks for all of the work they've done on behalf of your class. So let me start by saying that give you a little bit of information about you as a group. You come from 35 different states, as well as the District of Columbia. 83% of you come from somewhere other than Louisiana. So 17% of you either come from Louisiana or have ties to Louisiana. 16% of you are from Texas. 10% of you are from California. 5% of you are from Florida. And this year, 4% of you are from New York. And we actually have a significant number of folks from the other side of the river, 4% from New Jersey, as well as 4% from Georgia. So as you're all aware of the context we're in, This is a challenging time for Tulane and other institutions which value and appreciate our position as a global institution. Nevertheless, your class is still global. In addition to citizens from the United States, we have citizens from China and Panama as part of your class. Additionally, some of you are citizens of the United States, but you were born other places. You come from as far as Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, Pakistan, and Vietnam, as well as the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. I often get asked about the age of our class. The median age of the group is 23. The range of age range from 20 years of age to 40-something. For those of you in the 40-something category, we don't need to get more specific than that. Over half of you, 52% of you identify as women, and 16% of you identify with the LGBTQ community. And 25% of you represent typically underrepresented minority groups in the legal profession. And I could give you a lot of other statistics, such as LSAT scores and average grades and other quantifiable measures of your talent and chances of success. But the fact of the matter is that that really doesn't matter today. What makes me very proud is to be part of a law school that knows that notwithstanding all of these numbers and objective measures of talent, this doesn't guarantee the creation of an incoming class that's filled with passion and drive and spirit and soul. And I know you have all of these things. I want to give you one other statistic, and it's one that I don't normally think about, and I hinted at it earlier. The number of you who decided to attend Tulane Law School without visiting. In most years, the percentage of incoming students who attend without having set foot on campus as part of your decision process, it's usually a single-digit percentage. Some years it approaches 10%, but it's usually in the range of no more than 5 or 6%. For you, for obvious reasons, that number is a bit higher. In fact, it's about 1 in 5 of you. 1 in 5 of you did not have the opportunity to visit Tulane or New Orleans when you made your decision to join us. And while that's shocking, it's not shocking given the context of the global pandemic and the admissions process we've all been through. But at the same time, it fascinates me in a different way because it's obvious that you are all here for different reasons and different purposes. And some of them transcend the physical space that we occupy on campus and the city of New Orleans. So the truth of the matter is that I actually, after I realized that number was so high, I realized something else. The other way to look at this is optimistically. 4 out of 5 of you have ties to Tulane. 4 out of 5 of you have visited the city. And ultimately, as we create the sense of community and family from this day forward, we're going to rely on each other in a lot of different ways, and ways that we haven't before. So for the 4 out of 5 of you who have come to New Orleans and have visited campus before, that is always an icebreaker. Were you able to visit campus? Have you spent much time in New Orleans? And know that the answer for your class, for many of your classmates, is likely to be no. With that in mind, one of my annual traditions is the weekend before classes start. I reread all of your personal statements. Obviously, we've read every single word you've written during the admissions process, but it's very different to read it now. As opposed to reading it from a position of evaluating your candidacy, I'm now ultimately getting to see the class that we've shaped and the people who you are, and I start thinking about the relationships that you're going to be building over time. And different classes have different themes and different stories. The truth of the matter is, one other thing about your class is already you guys absolutely have embraced our call for jumping on social media. For those of you who have not seen our Instagram stories, truthfully, that's the way you should immediately learn about so many members of your class. from Reagan and Clarence and Thomas and Rita and Kat, Paige, Polly, Lynette, and the list is growing. I know there were some additional profiles added on today. The social media profiles that we've already placed on our website really speak to the diversity and drive and charisma that you are all bringing to this class. One theme, though, I wanted to bring up that as I read at your essays was your connection to Tulane and connection to New Orleans. And I'd like to share a few excerpts that I've particularly enjoyed. And for those of you who haven't had the experience of being on campus or being exploring the city, after 3 years or longer, for those of you who build your career here, I'm sure you're going to have very similar stories as well. One of you wrote that over the last 4 years, I've had the pleasure of calling New Orleans my home. I'm originally from a place that never felt like home to me. I haven't quite lived in New Orleans long enough to have tired of the typical touristy things, the streetcar, the live oak trees, the jazz music. But what the tourists miss out on is the sense of community that New Orleanians have with one another. Practicing public defense seems especially important in a city where so many live in poverty and in a state with high incarceration rates. And because New Orleans is my home, fellow New Orleanians are my neighbors, I feel a duty to keep them out of our jails. Some of you are coming home after a time away. One of you wrote, "You wouldn't know it from my New York driver's license or my Upper West Side address. If it wasn't for this essay, you probably wouldn't know from my application. But thankfully, this part of the application gives me a chance to tell you that I, in fact, grew up in New Orleans. After I left college and my parents faced the prospect of an empty nest, they sold our house and moved away. And as a result, I became an expatriate. My separation from the city has not diluted my affection. Quite the contrary. My hometown has made as much of an impression on me in its absence as it has in its presence. And despite the complications, when people ask me where I'm from, I tell them without a second thought, I'm from New Orleans. If you're looking for hard evidence, I would tell you that I drink my coffee with chicory, I tune into Saints games every Sunday, and I even get Tabasco Blue Runner red beans shipped to my New York apartment so that I can cook red beans and rice on Monday nights. I love New Orleans, I miss New Orleans, and I think of Tulane Law School as my return vessel, and the time is right for me to come home." Another one of you wrote, "As you can see from the area code in my phone number at the top of this page, I am a New Orleans girl born and bred. The city is ingrained in me. I went to Florida for undergrad in an effort to experience something new and pave my own way, and I spent 4 years learning and growing. I absolutely stand by my decision to go into uncharted territories. It was important for me to find my own way and learn the style of a new city. Nothing against Tallahassee, but New Orleans cannot be beat. The streets here in Tallahassee are too clearly marked and easy to pronounce. And Mardi Gras is just another Tuesday. And it's almost a 6-hour drive away from beignets. I hope to be able to return home with what I've learned on my own in my back pocket as I forge ahead in a new learning environment." I kind of feel the same way about Tallahassee, by the way. One of you wrote, "When my coworkers initially suggested taking a trip to New Orleans, I was unaware of how much culture, food, and entertainment I was going to experience. We did all the touristy things like eating beignets, walking around the French Quarter, and spending an evening on Frenchmen Street. However, it was a time between these moments that made me realize how an outsider could love a city just as much as their hometown. For instance, writing a song with my now roommate dedicated to my favorite food, cheese, while walking around the quieter streets, or hearing how much we were ripped off by an Uber driver, Charles, because we did not download the Crawfish app to locate the best price per pound on crawfish. The first time I saw Tulane University was on a Tuesday evening on my way to see Rebirth Brass Band play at the Maple Leaf Bar. This particular night showed me how community-oriented the city was, through seeing how a band and its surroundings rely on each other equally. From the audience's perspective, Rebirth played hours of music, showing all attendees the importance of music and the arts twice. From the band's perspective, without the audience buying tickets and CDs, enjoying their evening and eating rice and beans from their truck outside, they would not be able to continue to do what they love. that night, coupled with a dozen other experiences, made me realize how New Orleans is a place that I need to live in order to understand other ways this collective relationship exists, and how I can play a role in that. And this led me to strongly consider doing research and applying to Tulane Law to pursue my education. One of you writes, born and raised in New Orleans East, I have always heard about the prestigious Tulane University and the top tier quality education that it provides. However, I am not satisfied about the lack of economic growth and development that has occurred the last 15 years in the city since Hurricane Katrina. I believe New Orleans has the potential to be a world-renowned city, not just for tourism, but also for business and education, and it will take years of effort and persistence. It will require young men and women like myself and natives to collectively come together, organize, and create a plan of action. I believe attending Tulane Law will allow me to develop the skills and qualifications to help me understand the reasoning behind our lack of development and in comparison to other cities. Tulane will allow me to network with leaders and our communities to be able to better drive the change that is needed. One of you writes, 3 weeks ago, I wrote a different ending to this essay. I wrote about my growing interest in the systems and structures needed to support large-scale coastal restoration and improve drainage infrastructure in New Orleans in the face of climate change. And I wrote about my desire to study with Mark Davis at Tulane's Institute on Water Resources, Law and Policy. I wrote about my experience how my experience after Katrina shaped my view of citizenship engagement in defining law and policy. And then, in the days when I was editing this statement, the world changed. Stories about the global COVID-19 pandemic overtook our collective consciousness through news channels, social media, family conversations, and the reality of living our daily lives in a time of stay-at-home mandates. Once again, there are no innocent bystanders, and everyone has a role to play. I see my neighbors stepping up to care for each other, to raise money for displaced hospitality workers, to donate supplies for healthcare workers, to order takeout from struggling restaurants, and just to say hello and to connect. My experience has taught me that in order to realize our promise, we need laws, systems, and structures to reflect our commitment and to provide accountability for our intentions. And I've learned we have to work together, not only to care for each other in crisis and to rebuild after, but to build the legal structures and systems that enable and support the communities we want in the first place. And I want to enroll in Tulane Law to study these systems and structures, these opportunities to shape community and our relationships in order to help become and build the city that we want. All of these essays really demonstrate the beauty, the complexity, the joy, the pain of the place that we will be calling home. Some of us for 3 years, some of us for much longer. I am tremendously proud to have all of you join our community. I am tremendously excited to see the energy you bring to your study of law, to your understanding of justice, and ultimately the change that you're going to bring to the world. So thank you all for a wonderful weekend of reading. And even though some of you I know will never want to see me again, the law school admissions process is kind of one of those things where it's, you know, when you're done, you're done. I get it. But even so, I truly hope that you will not be strangers to the admissions staff. As you continue to settle into your new city and your new school, we want you to continue to share with us your successes, your challenges, and your inspiring voices and insight. We are already fans of each and every one of you. So with that said, it's now my pleasure to turn over the proceedings to the Dean of Tulane University Law School, Dean David Meyer.
Thank you so much, David. That was wonderful and always inspiring to meet our new students, and so excited to have you here. Well, I will say, even before your first class this coming Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to teaching about a third of you myself in torts on Wednesday morning. But even before you've had that experience of your first time in class, I know already that yours is a truly remarkable class at Tulane Law School. I know that, of course, and we all knew that months ago, based on getting to know you through your applications, as Dean Weinberg just recounted, and getting to know your really extraordinary talents and diverse experiences and backgrounds, some of which Dean Weinberg just adverted to. But we know really just how remarkable you are even more clearly today, now that you are here and now that you are starting law school. When many of you applied, as Dean Weinberg just referred to in quoting that admissions essay, the world was very different than it is today. We didn't yet know that a thing called a coronavirus was going to turn our world upside down and shake it. Some of you applied to law school after the pandemic had already begun. And in either case, your presence here demonstrates really impressive grit and determination that is going to serve you very well for the rest of your careers. Over the years, I've developed a theory about why Tulane Law alumni seem always to go on to such extraordinary success. And it is true, by the way, that wherever Tulane lawyers end up, in law firms, in public interest organizations, on courts, in academia, Congress, wherever it is, they do not merely succeed, but they lead. The current president of the American Bar Association, the immediate past president of the Congressional Black Caucus, mayors, judges, CEOs, managing partners, activists, entrepreneurs, chief judges, who you will meet later to swear you in for the Oath of Professionalism, all are Tulane lawyers. And it's a remarkable streak that when in coming to Tulane myself, I really marveled and puzzled over what it is about what is the secret sauce that leads not just to success, but careers of really extraordinary impact. And my theory is this, that Tulane, of course, I think can claim partial credit for it. And we will prepare you for leadership in your careers as well. But I also think that, honestly, that part of this, a big part of this outsized success of Tulane lawyers is attributable to a selection factor, a self-selection factor that reflects qualities in the people who choose Tulane. People drawn to the irresistible creativity of New Orleans, people with the self-confidence not to be scared off by the uniqueness of Louisiana's civil law tradition, who see that far from being a limitation, it's actually the key to a far broader global perspective on law and a key to transnational practice of law. People who embrace Tulane's powerful sense of community, which you also just heard about, and its mission of service to others. These attributes, creativity and adventurousness, openness to difference, faith in oneself, empathy for others, purpose, these are all qualities that are qualities of character that are keyed to success and to leadership. Like generations of alumni before you, you showed these qualities in choosing Tulane. But even more than your predecessors, you made that choice in the midst of an unfolding pandemic that presented historic challenges and uncertainty. Your determination in making that choice and seeing it through will bind your class together in remarkably tight ways. And I say this from my arrival at Tulane 10 years ago, getting to meet what we call the Katrina class at their 5-year reunion. and being stunned and so impressed at how tight they were as a group, having sort of pulled together and overcome the challenges of that extraordinary experience. And in some ways, different ways, but some real ways, you will have that unique experience too, in pioneering under these challenges. And I know that you will be bound together tightly, not despite the social distancing and the masks, and in a real sense, because of the social distancing and the masks, you will be you will pull together and be a class really like no other. So help each other, look out for each other. Law school is sometimes parodied as a place of cutthroat competition, but the truth is that we at Tulane really take pride in fostering a genuine community of students, faculty, and staff who really care about each other and look out for each other. This year, that community will, of course, be even more important. We've devised an excellent plan to keep everybody safe. It's an elaborate plan, and the university has invested enormously in making it work. From rapid and universal testing that will happen throughout the semester, of modifications and improvements to the building and to campus, to daily symptom monitoring, to elaborate safety protocols. It's really is a very good and exhaustively thought out plan. But all of it, of course, depends for its success upon the choices that each of us will make as individuals to care for the well-being of others through vigilance and responsibility, wearing masks always, playing it safe in social interactions, staying home when we're not feeling well, following the game plan. We can keep ourselves and each other safe and ensure the success of the semester. And the experience of succeeding and of overcoming the challenges will confirm your character, and with the amazing talents and accomplishments that brought you to this place, will ensure that you go on to great things in your careers. And I truly believe that your class will be marked for greatness through the experience that we share together. The world today, by the way, needs your greatness. It needs it urgently and desperately. We need you to lead in society and to make a difference. Perhaps never before has our society been laid so bare in terms of its unfinished business and unfulfilled promises. The vortex of crises that we have all experienced over the past 5 or 6 months, the public health crisis, the economic crisis, the crisis of systemic racism and injustice that has been exposed by the murder of George Floyd and others, and by the disparate impact of the pandemic. All of these things emphasize the crying need for lawyers. And so I am very glad that you are here. And I am very much looking forward to getting to know you and to work with you in the days ahead. Again, welcome to Tulane, to the Tulane Law Class of 2023. I can't wait to see what you will go on to do in your careers as Tulane lawyers. And I look forward to getting to know you in the days ahead. And David, we will do it with the beignet truck as well. So thank you. Well, it's now my great privilege and pleasure to introduce the Honorable Karen Roby. who will administer the Oath of Professionalism to all of you. Judge Roby is the Chief Magistrate Judge for the Federal District Court here in New Orleans. She graduated from Xavier University with a bachelor's degree in business before coming on to Tulane Law School and graduating in 1987. Before her appointment to the federal bench, Judge Roby was a high-powered litigator representing General Motors and numerous other clients nationally in high-stakes class actions and other lawsuits across the country. Appointed to the federal bench in 1998, she has earned a reputation for no-nonsense excellence on the bench and leadership and service to the profession and to the state and nation. She has served as the national president of the Federal Magistrate Judges Association, leading magistrate judges nationally. And besides her leadership on the judiciary, she has modeled excellence and leadership and service through a variety of means, from serving food in shelters to promoting civic education in the schools, to serving as a member of our own adjunct faculty here at Tulane Law School, teaching and mentoring students, and finally serving generously as a member of the law school Dean's Advisory Board. So please join me in welcoming and thanking Judge Karen Roby.
Good morning. It's my honor to be here with you today, even through Zoom. As you can see, I have my virtual courtroom behind me, just to share with you a little bit what my life is now like as a judge. While I'm used to sitting in that beautiful courtroom you see behind me, right now I'm at my kitchen table and I've got a green screen on my chair. And I hold court from my kitchen table every day. This afternoon, I have 3 criminal hearings, which I'll conduct from my table with the defendant showing on my screen. So life is kind of weird for us all, but we adapt. And there's only one thing that's constant, and that's change. And so I'm glad that you guys decided to continue to pursue change and growth as you have chosen Tulane. I think that what you'll find is that the school is really good at adapting to the unusual. And through that, you will develop, if you have not already developed the skill, to do the same. And what you'll find is when you do, and as you do, that your career will take turns and twists that you never anticipated, but you'll end up in places and spaces that are quite glorious and mind-boggling. So I welcome you to Tulane. I'm excited to see you all. Just to plug my class that I teach electronic discovery and digital evidence every spring. So when you get to your 2L year, you can sign up for the class. I personally think it's one of the more practical, but yet essential courses in light of the fact that most of the evidence that we receive now in federal court is digital. People don't write, people don't typically have paper documents anymore. And so it's a skill, right? It's a skill to know where to look, how to extract, and also how to offer that information in evidence. So I'm excited about the fact that you guys are here. I can't think of a time in life where the world needs you more. There's a dearth of leadership, as we have all been living through in the nation. And so we need you as our new crop of leaders to come and help the people who need you. The people who are protesting need lawyers to help get them out of jail. The people who are in nursing homes who trusted the care that they would give need advocates for their loved ones who they may not see again. The people who thought their lives were secure and had jobs who are now unemployed and don't know where they're going to get their next meal need you. I don't think you could have chosen a better university to come to, because Tulane is a school that believes in service. And you'll learn more about that through all the different clinics that we have that not only will help develop your lawyering skills, but also your passion for whether it's environmental law or criminal law or domestic violence. There's a place for you here to develop the skill and the passion. So to get you ready so that you can actually do all that, normally we're standing in our big auditorium and Dean and I are up on the stage and you're standing. And unfortunately, I won't be able to hear you say your oath, but what I would ask is that you do me the favor of raising your right hand and repeating after me. As I begin my studies at Tulane University Law School, I accept the substantial responsibilities of entering the legal profession and pledge myself to the service of society. From this point forward, I promise both to uphold the governing rules of the legal profession and to preserve academic integrity. I commit myself to being a supportive colleague, a zealous advocate of those I represent, and an engaged member of the community. Recognizing that my actions no longer reflect solely upon myself, but also upon Tulane University and the legal profession. I will strive to maintain the highest standards of personal and professional conduct. Welcome, class. Congratulations, class of 2023. Welcome to Tulane.
Congratulations to all of you again, and welcome to Tulane. I particularly already like the people I'm seeing who are clearly have roommates and are sharing a Zoom square together, already forming a really positive quarantine. So continue to keep each other safe and continue to look out for one another. This actually concludes your formal orientation to Tulane Law School before classes begin on Wednesday. Over the next couple of days, please, if any of you have any continuing questions or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to Dean Gaunt. At this point, the admissions team is still your biggest allies and will be happy to help you as well. So if you have questions, you can reach out to me, to Julia, to Emily, to Alex, and we'll be happy to help you out. So congratulations again, and the faculty looks forward to meeting you on Wednesday. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you, Judge Roby.
Thank you, Judge Roby.